A good day, and thanks for joining us. Today we're going to be covering on-time air performance for the month of October 2014 within the continental United States. Our agenda is made up of a couple items. First, we're just going to do some data overview to look at the sample, who's late, why they're late, a delay breakdown, and what I mean by that is, why were they delayed? What were the delays coming from? Some visuals relating to geographical and airport review, by state, and then looking at and pinpointing some of our largest airports in CONUS. Daily opportunities and impacts. We all know that no matter what month it is, we're going to have delays. And October had a couple of days where, certain items popped up, namely weather, that we want to touch on. And lastly, some closing comments and pointers that I think are good takeaways for this group. Going into our data overview, the sample we used was a 10% sample for the month of October. This look gives you an idea by airline of the amount of flights that each took. The original sample size was 49,028. We extrapolated that out to what we think would be the total based on that 10% sample, and then broke it down by airline. Southwest makes up roughly 20% of the total, with Delta coming in second. Coloring's based on airtime, and as you can imagine, that coincides with the amount of flights that people had for the most part. So who's late? Get into the meat and potatoes of this. As expected, Southwest is the highest. They had the most flights. But really, when I look at it, AA and EV are the ones that are over-indexing more than anybody compared to the amount of flights. Delta and US are slightly better than expected. So, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. This is an interesting look. I felt that, as you look at bubble charts, a lot of times it's hard to read it, but when you've got so many factors going into arrivals and departures, along with the items that drive those, good or bad, it's good to see the airlines and how they fit amongst their competitors. When you look at no delays, again, as I pointed out earlier, Delta is over-indexing, as is EV. Southwest, again, the largest circle because they have the most airlines. For ones that have both delays, Southwest also over-indexes along with EV. And MQ, is really your best on-time performer. A lot of that can be geographical, where they fly, what flights they had in the month. So there are other factors in here that we didn't have a chance to look at. Going into delay breakdown, late aircraft delay and carrier delay are both dominating this area. When you're looking at almost 350,000 minutes related to that, it's a big deal. And you talk about whether that's maintenance, weather, airport delays, those kinds of things. All those factors play into this. But 80% coming from two categories. That's pretty telling when you think about what there is to work on. So delays by state, no surprise here, other than I think New York, being such a heavy and high populated area, they do a pretty good job. But Texas, Chicago, and California, two of the three, speak a lot to weather. We get a lot of weather in Illinois, get a lot of weather in Texas, very volatile at times, not to mention high traffic. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Atlanta as well. Definitely better than expected. By airport, This is, again, very indicative of size. Um, Atlanta, Dallas, Chicago dominate. You see some other circles, JFK, LAX, and SFO also uh, as expected, but the three airports that experience most weather, have the most traffic, and have huge hubs definitely stick out on this map. This buy day overview, this is not the greatest look, but what I wanted to show here was, raw numbers. It was hard to chart, but you can see the worst day, October 13th. You're looking at 40,000 delays. And that leaked into the following day. The 2nd, 13th, and 27th also saw higher than expected delays due to that performance and the weather. So a busy chart, I know, but something that I think was worthy of looking at and taking a peek at. Lastly, just a quick summary on what we just covered. Roughly 18% of all flights were late in the month of October. Southwest had the highest delay at 21%. Largest airports are in line with expectations, and there's no surprise. Even if you have 5% delay, those largest airports are probably going to be the ones that are going to drive the most delays. Carrier and late aircrafts, and all the factors we talked about earlier, the highest contributors. That's inevitable. October wasn't a bad month weather-wise. As we pointed out, there was a couple bad ones, but it wasn't terrible. But it's that trickle factor of how long it takes to recover that really impacts us. I hope this information was helpful. Thanks for your time today. I appreciate it.